Hey up guys, in this video what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can use your dots on the neck of your guitar to help you to learn your intervals. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the open strings themselves to build intervals into these fret markers. Most guitars have these fret markers on the 3rd fret, the 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret and the 12th fret. If we assume that this open string here is the root note of our chromatic scale, then what we need to do is marry that with the dots so that we can navigate the fretboard easier and quicker. Once we know where these are, we can use these positions to find other notes relative to that note that we found on the dot. If we look here, we've got the root note. So that would be the E string that is open, and this applies to all 6 strings. So here's the E string open, so we're assuming that's the root note. Now if we go up a half step, a step and a half, then what happens is we get to the flat 3rd, and every time you play an open string and go to the 3rd fret, you're going to get a flat 3rd. So if I play the open E and I fret at the 3rd fret, that's going to be a flat 3rd or a minor 3rd. Now I can do the same thing moving across all the other strings. So if I start on the open A, then go to the 3rd fret, that's going to be a flat 3rd as well, or a minor 3rd. So you can think of that in both ways. Go to the open D, then I go up to the 3rd fret, that's the distance of a flat 3rd. Open G, 3rd fret, that's going to be a flat 3rd as well. Then open B to this D here on the 3rd fret, that is a flat 3rd as well. And then if I play this open thin E string, because the thin E string mirrors the thick E string, that's going to be the same thing as well. So that tells us where the flat 3rd is, and what we can do then is we can move up to the next dot. If this is the flat 3rd, then we know that the major 3rd is going to be here, which means the perfect 4th is going to be here at the 5th fret. So the 5th fret, we're going to get a perfect 4th, and that makes sense because this is how we tune the guitar, in 4ths. When you play that A there, you might compare the sound of that note to the sound of the open string underneath it. So if we take this all the way across, we can see that we get this 4th happening from an open string to the 5th fret. Going from the open E string to the 5th fret, that is a perfect 4th. And you can tell, if you want an easy way to identify that, you have Here Comes the Bride. Here comes the bride. If I do it the same on the A string, we will get the same thing. And just confirm it by singing Here Comes the Bride in your head. Here comes the bride. Okay, here we can do it as well on the D string. So we go from open to the 5th fret, which is a perfect 4th. So you can hear that, Here Comes the Bride. The open G string to the 5th fret, that's a perfect 4th. The open B string to the 5th fret, that's a perfect 4th. And then from the open thin E string, which is of course a mirrored string from the thick E string, and that's a perfect 4th as well. What we have now is we have established 2 places here on the neck, and we can actually establish that the root is the open strings. According to that, we can figure out what the notes are. So if we think about this is the root note, and then we come here, this is the flat 2nd, and then this is going to be the 2nd. And then that gets us to the flat 3rd. Remember, the rule is that majors and minors go around in pairs. So if this is a major 2nd, then one less is going to be a minor 2nd. And this is a minor 3rd, so it goes to say that if I move up 1, there's going to be a major 3rd as well. By having these little landmarks on the fret markers, which we use to navigate the fretboard, we have those 5 frets down. We have them sussed. So we've got root, minor 2nd, major 2nd, flat 3rd, major 3rd, perfect 4th. Okay, let's use the next dot. What we're going to do is, if we go perfect 4th, we have this tritone here. So we're going to hear that tritone, the devil's interval. If we go from the open E string up a tone, and up another tone, then what we get is 3 tones, which is tritone. 3 tones. And if we go from the 12th fret, which is a repeat of the open strings, down a tone, down a tone, down a tone, you can see we get to that 6th fret. So that's the tritone. The tritone, it has a couple of names. We can think of it as being either a perfect 4th that is raised, called a sharp 4, or an augmented fourth, or there's a fifth, which is a flat fifth or a diminished fifth. So we can think of that in a few different ways. But the thing is, I'm getting to it from this fifth and from this fourth here. I'm using those as my reference points to find somewhere different. This means that from the open string to the 7th fret, this is going to be a perfect fifth. You should be able to hear that perfect fifth that John Williams loves to use in all his movies, in Star Wars and used in Superman. So going from the open A string to the 7th fret, we get that interval of a perfect fifth. Going from the open D string to the 7th fret, it's a perfect fifth. Open G string to the 7th fret, we get the perfect fifth. Open B string to the 7th fret, perfect fifth. And then back to this thin E string, which is just the same as the thick E string because it's just a mirrored note. We've established those there, and we can think about what exists and lives in between there as well. It's a good way of helping you to memorize the order of your intervals as they move up chromatically from one fret to the next up to the 12th fret where it all starts again. This dot takes care of that perfect fifth, but if we come up here, then what happens is we go up to the 6th. This is a major 6th, and if we think about it, what I said before, major 6 and minor 6 live together. There's the major 6, minor 6 is just here. This dot is also helping me to figure out where the flat 6 is going to be on this. Hear that. I always think of the outro scene from the Incredible Hulk series back in the 70s that I grew up with. If you can associate a theme tune or something with this, then it's going to be easier for you to just recall it and memorize it. That's the major 6 there, using each of the open strings as root notes. The distance from that open E string to this 9th fret is a 6. A string to the 9th fret is a major 6th as well. And then we've got this major 6 on the D to the 9th fret as well. Carry that on the G string, that's another 6. Open B to the 9th fret, that's another 6th. And then our good old mirrored notes here. Now what happens is that 6th takes us all the way to the 9th fret. I'm going to jump ahead to the double dots, and the double dots tell us something very significant, and that tells us that the notes start again. Look at this, the notes go 3, 5, 7, 9. You've got single dots there, and if we look at the dusty end of the fretboard, we can see that we get 15, 17, 19 and 21. But what we can do is we can think of those as being 3, 5, 7, 9, but an octave higher. This 12th fret is an octave higher from these open strings. So this is an E and this is an E. Because of the way that the guitar is tuned, it goes E, A, D, G, B, E. Use your mnemonic of choice to remember that. If I do the same at the 12th fret, it goes E, A, D, G, B, E. So that is just a repeat of what's down there, but an octave higher. Because we've established that, we know where the octave is. The octave is hi-ho. We've got that. Hi-ho. There's the octave. Hi-ho. Hi-ho. I'm getting into my falsetto here. So you can hear on that B string, from the open string to the 12th fret, that is going to be an octave. We established that at the 9th fret we had the 6th and at the 12th fret we had the octave. But what we have is we've got these 2 frets that we need to take care of as well. Now if we think about the octave means 8. This is the 6th. So in between 6 and 8 we get 7. If we remember the rule that minor 7 and major 7 are next door to each other, minors and majors travel in pairs like that. So that's a minor 7. And this is going to be a major 7. So I can apply that then across all of the strings and think to myself, okay, there's a major 6th, and I want to know what the flat 7 is on the A string. So, and then I can look and I can name the note. I could use that as a way to help me to do that. And now what I do is I play that open string there, that would be my root, and this would be a flat 7. Now what I can actually do is I could tie this with another fretboard hack, and you can watch that just here.